Now I'm gonna talk to you about my dislikes. Now I'm gonna talk to you about the negatives, about my negatives about the 2025 schedule. What I dislike about what I don't like about the 2025 schedule. Honestly, there's not much. There's not much I really don't like. There's not much I really don't like about the 2025 schedule, as far as I'm concerned. But there's two things I really don't like about the 2025 schedule. There's actually three things actually. Do we really need one thing I really don't like about the one thing I really hate about the 2025 schedule? About the 2025 NASCAR Sprint Cup Series schedule? Do we need more road courses? I mean seriously. Does NASCAR need more road courses? Do we need do we need more road courses in one season than what we had now? Yes, we had Coda. Yes, we had Coda. We had Road America. We had the Charlotte Motor Speedway road course. We had the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course in recent times. But do we actually need more road courses in the season? I mean, in the 2025 schedule, yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I'm happy with. Yes, I'm happy with them going to Mexico City. I really am happy about them going to Mexico City. But do we need more road courses? Do we need more road courses in one season? The NASCAR Sprint Cup Series has 5 road courses in the 2025 schedule. We got Coda. We got the new track Mexico City, which is a road course also. We got Sonoma. We have Sonoma. We have the Charlotte Oval. We have the Charlotte Roval. We have Watkins Glen. 5 road courses. 5 road courses in one season. Mexico City. Yeah, Mexico City. Coda. Sonoma. Charlotte Roval. And Watkins Glen in the playoffs. Charlotte Roval. Watkins Glen in the playoffs. Both of them playoff races. But do we need more road courses? Well, what's going on? And I kind of agree with Dale Jr. I kind of agree because Dale Earnhardt Jr. earlier gave his opinion after the spring race at Richmond earlier this season. Gave his opinion on the short track package. Gave his opinion on what his thoughts about Richmond losing the date. Richmond losing the spring date. What are we doing? What are we doing? Why are we getting rid of short tracks? Most importantly, why are we getting rid of one short track and replacing it with a road course? I mean, yes, the short track package, the short track package in the next gen car. The next gen car has been struggling with short tracks in the short track racing. Cars having trouble passing each other due to the extra shifting in the corners at Martinsville and Richmond. Bristol Motor Speedway wasn't bad. Bristol always had great racing. But converting Bristol Motor Speedway, because what I really despised in the 2021 and the 2023 schedule, putting dirt on Bristol Motor Speedway. Bristol Motor Speedway doesn't need dirt. It races just fine. It races just fine as a concrete oval. If you want to have a dirt track, then go to Eldora. Go to Eldora. Go to Knoxville. Most importantly, go to Eldora. Eldora produces great dirt track racing. But don't put dirt at Bristol Motor Speedway. One cannot be cheap. It is expensive as heck. It is costing the track owner money. Putting dirt on Bristol Motor Speedway. It pays a lot of money putting dirt on that track. But my opinion on the short tracks, NASCAR doesn't need less short tracks. It needs more short tracks. And we need to fix the short. And Dale Earnhardt Jr. has had a point in that episode of his podcast. We need to change the package, and we need to change the short track package badly on these ovals. And they're trying, and I mean they're trying, and they're really trying to fix the short track package. And they added a new tire compound. They added a new tire compound in that fall race at Richmond. They added a new tire compound for the All-Star race in North Wilkesboro. Make sure those tires rear good, and make sure the tire rear is faster at short tracks. Rockingham. It races like a short track. Phoenix races like a short track. Dover races like a short track. But do we need to lose one to replace a short track? To replace a date on a short track, on a famous short track, on a historic short track, on a founded short track for a Mexico City, but for a road course state. Richmond was a founding track. Richmond opened its doors in 1940. Richmond first opened its doors in 1946. Martinsville opened its doors in the 1940s. It was NASCAR's founding track. Richmond was one of the founding tracks. Richmond had history. The spring race at Richmond had history. The fall race at Richmond had history. Let's take back in the 1980s. Richmond had a totally different layout. It was known as Richmond Fairgrounds Raceway. That race, 1987. Richmond had a great rivalry with Dale Earnhardt and Darrell Waltrip. Dale Earnhardt reckoned Darrell Waltrip in himself in turn 3 at Richmond in the spring, and it was during the spring race at Richmond. Kyle Busch reckoned Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 2009 race at Richmond, and it was during the spring date at Richmond. Kevin Harvick climbing on top of his car, climbing on top of Ricky Rudd's car, performing a WWE style attack on Ricky Rudd during the fall race at Richmond. Mark Martin scoring one of his first Cup Series wins at Richmond in 1992. In 1990. Bill Elliott. Great drivers had great wins at that track. Neil Bonnet scored a win at Richmond. Dale Earnhardt, I'm pretty sure he has more short track wins than any other driver. That's Rich. Yeah, Dale Earnhardt, you definitely do not want to be on his bad side when it comes to short tracks and 1 mile ovals. You definitely do not want to be in the bad side of the Intimidator. but a great short track. One of the most famous one of the most historic ones. Losing a date over a road course. Replacing that date with a road course. Richmond did not need to lose the second date. As a matter of fact, it didn't need to lose the second. That track didn't need to lose the second date. Period. Because it's going to cost that track. It's going to cost that track money. It's going to cost the track owner money. If the track, in my opinion, it's going to cost them a lot of money. Getting rid of a second date. It really does worry. It really does worry me about Richmond losing the date. Because what if Richmond loses all of its dates in the Sprint Cup Series schedule? What if Richmond gets axed from the Sprint Cup Series schedule completely? What if Martinsville loses a date in the Sprint Cup Series schedule? That's what I'm worried about. What are we doing with the short tracks? What are we doing with the short tracks? I know we're adding more short tracks to the schedule. I know the Truck Series added Indianapolis Raceway Park, a new short track to the schedule. But I'm talking about the Sprint Cup Series. I'm talking about the Sprint Cup Series. That series needs more short track races. I'm glad we have a new one. I'm glad we had Iowa. 2024, the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series race is inaugural date at Iowa. But does Richmond need to lose the second date? Here's a fix. Here's a fix on that. Here is a fix on that. If you want to keep Mexico City, I think NASCAR needs a longer schedule. I think it needs to extend the schedule, at least a couple more races. Why not add at least three, maybe two more points races on the schedule? Why not add mid? If you want to keep the schedule into November and keep it from getting into the football schedule, why not add more midweek races? NASCAR's done it before with COVID-19. NASCAR had added midweek races during the 2020 season during COVID-19, and tracks did not need to lose dates. And of course, Auto Club lost the date in 2021. But yes, if you want to keep Mexico City, and keep the Richmond spring date, add more midweek races, add Wednesday, add some midweek racing. I mean, they did it with 2020. They did it with the pandemic. I'm pretty sure they can do it again. Also, what I don't like about the 2020 schedule is New Hampshire being in the playoffs. New Hampshire Motor Speedway does not need. I mean, yes, it was in the playoffs before. It was in the playoffs from 2004. It was in the playoffs from 2004 to 2017. But does New Hampshire need to be in the playoffs? I think it should be in like 5 races heading into the playoffs. And what I think about the the Charlotte Roval's going to be coming back for another season. We need to get out of the road course at Charlotte. We need to get out of the road course at Charlotte Motor Speedway. I mean, I like the Charlotte Roval. I like the Charlotte road course. Don't get me wrong on that. I like that track. I like the Charlotte Roval. But look at the performance that the next gen car has been put. Look what the performance that the next gen car has put at Nashville, at intermediate tracks like Nashville, Las Vegas, the Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte, Kansas, Atlanta, even Atlanta Motor Speedway. The intermediate track, the next gen car had performed monumental racing at those tracks. The Charlotte Motor Speedway, the fall race at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, it needs to come back to the oval. It needs to go back to the Charlotte Oval, not the Charlotte. I mean, I like the Charlotte Roval, but that Charlotte Oval race, that fall race at the Charlotte Oval, the Bank of America 500, the Mellow Yellow 500, the UAW GM Quality 500. That track needs to go back to that race needs to go back to the oval.